It's hard to deny just how much social media kind of shapes our daily lives, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you probably checked at least one platform already today.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
So for this deep dive, we've pulled together some really interesting material to, well, dig into this kind of knotty relationship between social media and our mental well-being.
Right.
Our mission really is simple. Unpack both the upsides and the potential downsides, and hopefully give you some solid ideas on finding a healthier balance.
Absolutely. I mean, it gives us some genuinely valuable tools and connections, but there are also areas where we really need to tread carefully.
Yeah.
Looking at the whole picture, that's key to understanding its impact on you and what you can, practically do about it.
Okay, let's dive right in then. Our sources definitely show that social media is, well, a real mix, right?
Uh-huh.
On the plus side, the connectivity is just incredible. Keeping in touch with family, friends across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we almost take for granted now.
It really is. Plus, there's just this wealth of information out there. You can find mental health resources, learn new skills, even find truly inspiring stories if you know where to look.
Yeah, that global connectivity, it's a fundamental shift. For many people, especially those who might feel isolated, maybe geographically, or who connect with niche communities online, social media can actually provide a crucial sense of belonging, a vital support network even.
Totally.
And, the access to diverse information and expert knowledge, that's a powerful democratizing force.
Exactly. And it's not just about what we consume, is it? It's also this huge stage for creativity, for self-expression.
Right.
People share their art, their opinions, their personal journeys. It can be a really potent way to find your tribe, connect with others on a deeper level through shared passions.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not overlook the practical stuff, networking for jobs, picking up new skills through online communities, even building a business. These platforms offer some really tangible opportunities.
Well, what's fascinating there is the element of empowerment. Individuals can group around shared interests. Yeah. They can advocate for causes they care about, even discover professional paths that maybe would have been out of reach before.
But then, well, as we know, there's another side to this coin.
Yep.
And that's where the potential impact on our mental well-being becomes a real concern. The comparison trap, we hear about that a lot, and it just rings so true.
It does.
We're constantly scrolling through these curated feeds, the amazing vacations, the perfect achievements, and it's almost inevitable to start comparing our own lives and feeling like, we fall short.
Yeah.
It's like everyone else just living in a highlight reel.
That carefully constructed online persona.
Mm-hmm.
It's crucial to understand people tend to present this idealized version of themselves and their experiences. Mm-hmm. They often share only the most positive moments, carefully editing out the everyday realities. And this constant exposure to seemingly perfect lives, it can definitely breed feelings of inadequacy, erode self-esteem. It's what psychologists sometimes call upward social comparison.
And then there's doom scrolling, that urge to just keep scrolling through negative news, even when you know it's probably not doing you any good.
Oh, yeah.
I know I've definitely found myself stuck in that loop. It's like this morbid curiosity takes over, but man, it can really crank up our stress and anxiety levels.
Well, the continuous intake of negative information, it can activate our natural stress response.
Uh-huh.
Our brains are kind of wired to pay attention to threats, right?
Yeah.
And this constant barrage of negative news can lead to a state of chronic anxiety. It's really important to be aware of how much negative content you're absorbing and the toll it takes on your mood.
And who hasn't felt that little pang of FOMO, the fear of missing out? Seeing everyone else online seemingly having these incredible experiences, it can definitely leave you feeling excluded or like you're missing out on something important.
FOMO plays on our fundamental human need for social connection, for belonging. When we see others taking part in events or sharing experience we're not part of, it can trigger feelings of anxiety and that persistent urge to just check in, see what everyone else is doing.
And let's be honest, social media can be incredibly sticky. It's designed that way, right?
Absolutely.
All those notifications, the endless scroll, they're almost engineered to keep us hooked, often pulling us away from our real-life interactions and seriously impacting our productivity.
Yeah, the design of many social media platforms uses what are known as variable reinforcement schedules. Basically, rewards, like likes or comments, they're delivered inconsistently. And this unpredictability actually makes the behavior more addictive. Users keep checking, anticipating that next positive feedback. It can definitely lead to habitual, sometimes compulsive use, taking time away from other important activities and real-world connections.
Yeah. So having a clearer picture of both these sides, the genuinely good things and the potential pitfalls, it really empowers us, doesn't it?
It does.
It allows us to be more intentional about how we use these platforms rather than feeling like we're just at the mercy of the algorithm.
Precisely. Awareness is the crucial first step toward making informed decisions about how we interact with these technologies.
Okay, so how do we start to recognize when social media might be tipping over into having a negative impact on our mental well-being? What are some of the key signals we should be paying attention to in ourselves?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
And while it's, a personal experience, there are some common patterns. One of the most direct indicators is simply noticing how you consistently feel after you've spent time on social media. Do you regularly find yourself feeling more anxious, sad, irritable, or even just drained after scrolling? Maybe take a moment, listener, to really think about your typical post-scrolling state.
That's such a good point. We often just power through without really taking stock of how it's affecting our mood,
Mm-hmm.
Another sign seems to be that constant internal scorecard, the self-comparison. Do you often catch yourself mentally measuring your life against what you see online, whether it's influencers or even just friends, and consistently feeling like you don't measure up?
That persistent feeling of inadequacy is a significant red flag. When your sense of self-worth starts to hinge on the curated images and achievements of others you see online, that's a clear sign social media is likely having a detrimental effect on your self-perception.
Yeah.
This kind of upward comparison can really erode your sense of self-esteem over time.
And I think a lot of us can unfortunately relate to this one. Social media creeping into our sleep, that late night scroll in bed. It can really mess with our sleep patterns and, like we said earlier, contribute to increased stress.
Yeah, the screens on our devices emit blue light, which can interfere with the production of melatonin, that's the hormone crucial for regulating our sleep-wake cycle.
Right, melatonin.
By suppressing melatonin, blue light can signal to your body that it's not time to sleep, making it harder to fall asleep and reducing the quality of your rest.
And what about this? Do you ever find yourself in a real-life situation, maybe having dinner with friends, watching a beautiful sunset, but you're more focused on capturing it for social media than actually being present in the moment and experiencing it?
That highlights a potential displacement of attention. When our focus is constantly pulled toward our devices and the urge to document and share online, it actively detracts from our ability to fully engage with and appreciate our immediate surroundings and the people we're physically with.
Yeah.
You might be there physically, but mentally you're already thinking about the caption and the likes.
And this one, I think, resonates with so many people. Feeling this underlying pressure to post for validation. When your sense of self-worth starts to feel tied to the number of likes and comments you get, that's a pretty strong indicator your relationship with social media might be out of balance.
That reliance on external validation from social media, it can create a precarious sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
It can lead to a cycle of constantly seeking approval and a fragile self-esteem that depends on online metrics rather than a stable sense of internal confidence and self-acceptance.
It's almost comforting, though, to hear that these feelings are pretty widespread, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's not like we're alone in navigating this. And the good news, as our sources highlight, is that there are definitely proactive steps we can take to cultivate a healthier relationship with social media.
Absolutely. It's all about being more intentional and proactive in how we choose to engage with these platforms.
So let's get into those actionable strategies.
Yeah.
What are some concrete steps our listener can take, like right now, to start building a more balanced approach?
Okay. One of the most immediate and effective steps is setting time limits. Most smartphones now have built-in features, that let you track your screen time and set daily limits for specific apps.
Mm-hmm.
There are also tons of third-party apps that can help you monitor and control your usage. Simply becoming aware of how much time you're actually spending online is the crucial first step in regaining control.
That makes perfect sense. It's just so easy for those minutes to slip away into hours of scrolling without us even realizing.
Exactly.
Another really impactful strategy seems to be actively curating your feed. It's almost like Marie Kondoing your social media, right?
Yeah, good way to put it.
Consciously choosing to follow accounts that uplift and inspire you, and ruthlessly hitting that unfollow or mute button on anything that consistently triggers negative emotions or self-doubt.
Precisely. Think of your social media feed as your digital environment. Consciously shaping it with content that aligns with your values and promotes positive emotions can have a significant impact on your overall online experience. Don't hesitate to remove accounts or content that regularly contribute to negative self-talk or feelings of anxiety.
And I really like this idea in intentionally scheduling social media breaks, these digital detoxes. It doesn't have to be some drastic, month-long unplugging. It could be as simple as a few hours in the evening, maybe a full day on the weekend, or even just committing to not checking your phone for the first hour after you wake up.
Yeah, stepping away from social media entirely, even for short periods, provides a valuable opportunity to recalibrate and reconnect with the offline world. It can offer a fresh perspective on your relationship with these platforms and help break that cycle of constant checking and the fear of missing out.
And this next one is all about cultivating more mindful awareness around our emotions while we're actually using social media. If you start to notice those familiar negative feelings creeping in, that twinge of envy or that spike of anxiety, take a conscious pause. Really ask yourself what specific content or interaction triggered that response.
Cultivating this kind of mindful awareness is key. By paying attention to your emotional reactions to different types of content and interactions, you can begin to identify specific patterns and understand which aspects of social media are most likely to have a negative impact on your well-being. This self-awareness is the foundation for making more conscious choices about your usage.
It's not just about passively scrolling either, is it? Our sources emphasize the value of shifting from that mindless consumption to more purposeful engagement.
Right.
Actively using social media to learn something new, to connect with people in a meaningful way, like through direct messages or supportive communities, or to share positive and uplifting content yourself.
That intentionality really transforms social media from a potential drain on your well-being into a tool for genuine connection and personal growth. When you approach these platforms with a specific purpose in mind, you're far less likely to get lost in endless, unproductive scrolling that can often lead to those negative comparisons and feelings of inadequacy.
And this one feels absolutely fundamental. Prioritizing and actively investing in our real-life connections.
Yes.
Spending quality time with family and friends, getting out into nature, engaging in hobbies that bring us joy offline. These are the activities that truly recharge our batteries in a way that scrolling just can never replicate.
Our real-world relationships provide a depth of connection, face-to-face interaction, and shared experiences that are vital for our overall well-being and resilience. Making dedicated time for these offline interactions isn't just important, it's essential for a balanced and fulfilling life.
And finally, setting clear boundaries around when and where we use social media. The sources specifically mention avoiding checking our phones first thing in the morning and right before we go to bed. That just makes so much sense for protecting our mental state during those really vulnerable times of the day.
Establishing these boundaries helps to create a crucial buffer between the often stimulating and potentially stressful world of social media and your sleep and waking routines. It allows you to start your day with a sense of calm and focus and wind down in the evening without the potential for late-night anxiety or disrupted sleep patterns.
It really does sound like making these relatively small but very intentional changes can add up to a significantly healthier and more positive experience with social media. It's not about completely abandoning these platforms for most of us, but about finding that sustainable and mindful balance.
Exactly. It's about integrating social media into your life in a way that actively supports rather than inadvertently undermines your overall mental health and well-being.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, it's clear that social media is, well, deeply embedded in our modern lives. It isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
That's for sure.
That's why proactively seeking a healthier balance is just so incredibly important for all of us.
Yes, and it's important to remember this is an ongoing process. It's about self-awareness and adjustment. What works best for you might even evolve over time. So staying attuned to your own needs and responses is really key.
And ultimately, the goal is to really shift our perspective, isn't it? To see social media as a tool, one that can be used for positive connection, for learning, for sharing, rather than something that consistently leaves us feeling stressed, inadequate, or disconnected from our own lives.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's about recognizing and really internalizing the understanding that our inherent self-worth is not something that can or should be determined by external metrics like likes, comments, or follower counts on social media.
Absolutely. Our value as individuals is just so much deeper, more complex than any online validation. It's really crucial to keep that perspective. Maybe take a moment to reflect on our conversation today and identify just one small, actionable change you could realistically implement in your own social media habits, maybe starting today. And perhaps consider sharing some of these insights with someone else in your life who might also be navigating these same challenges.
Yeah, and this raises a really important question for you, the listener. What is one small, concrete step you can take in the next 24 hours to cultivate a greater sense of self-worth that isn't tied to your online interactions? That's definitely something worth exploring.
Definitely something to think about. So until our next deep dive, please take good care of yourselves, stay mindful of your digital habits, and always remember that true balance and well-being really do start from within.